Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now November 15th of 2023, and given that the Marvels is already off to a terrible start, and it's not looking to make any kind of a recovery on the box office results anytime soon. In fact, we know that the Disney heads, Bob Iger, the CEO, and the board of directors are already having a massive meltdown about the current situation of the MCU and exactly what the future holds for, of course, the timeline throughout 2025 and beyond, given that so many titles were delayed from 24 and pushed until either 25, bleeding into 2026. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, the thing about Brie Larson is that we know that she has been going through a lot of drama, a lot of pushback, a lot of individuals that are fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that are really showing a lot of criticism against this movie. And let's just say that director Nia DaCosta doesn't want to hear any of it. She's having a massive attitude problem about this movie, and we all know what this film really is all about. It's an agenda-driven garbage piece by Disney executives that really have no care in the world about what the overall MCU should really stand for. Now, look, we know that at the end of the day, Brie Larson is another insufferable actress out there who's very self-absorbed, very full of herself, that doesn't really care about what the viewers or what the audience wants to see on the big screen. We already know that one of the major villains in The Marvels was race swapped, and this is not a big shocker at all. But what's really interesting about this is that with The Marvels continuing to fail at the box office, one major development has to do with actress Brie Larson. Now, one major overall update has to do with Brie Larson's reaction to getting blacklisted from Hollywood, as it turns out, by multiple studios after the Marvels' failure at the box office. Brie went on to deliver the following. As an actress, I think my biggest challenge is just dealing with some studios that feel they don't want to work with you anymore. And I believe that's where the unfairness in this industry remains active, is that many studios are heavily reliant on criticism, whether it's right or wrong. And sometimes these studios never get the full big picture or the details about why one project may have not met expectations. As an actress that has met with these challenges, especially in the present, I believe I have been treated unfairly in an unprofessional way by many of the studio's decisions based on fan criticism by the toxic male demographic. This needs to stop, and I believe many studios need to create a more wide-open view of what they see from their audience and who is talking and making reviews. I just don't want to talk about where my future holds at Disney and at Marvel Studios right now, so of course I have no comment on that, and quite frankly I am not really ready to say what I have to say in that field. But as for other studios that have already made their decision with me as an actress, I think it's only fair to make it known that these studios base their decisions, many times, more often lately, for sure, by the toxic male demographic that just needs to learn to keep loud, biased opinions to themselves. Now guys, let me say one thing about this. This is really sounding again like Nia DaCosta, the director of The Marvels, who said many things just like that. You know, that a lot of fans that have a problem with her film are really those against equality and everything related to Disney's DEI agenda that's just ridiculous, hypocritical, and flawed. I've said that many times. But one thing about this that I find to be quite a shocker is that she is willing to not talk about her current status over at Marvel Studios and Disney, and we all know why. We talked about this 2 weeks ago, that Disney dropped her from multiple cameo roles for Deadpool 3, for a planned out Miss Marvel Season 2, and other Marvel projects that are to be announced next year, along with having major movie roles in future Avengers films that are also being dropped for Brie Larson, and it's not looking good for her acting career. You know why? The Marvel Universe is basically Brie Larson's backbone to her career. That really is her backbone. You know, anything else is kind of like side stuff. This is like her thing going on in Hollywood, and The Marvels was the final nail in the coffin, essentially. It really was. Now, we know that Brie Larson has said pretty dumb things before in the past, and she continues to say dumb things right now, blaming everything on a toxic male demographic, blaming the studios for listening to, quote-unquote, the toxic male demographic, spewing loud, biased opinions is just beyond ludicrous, right? Now, this works in conjunction with what we talked about just a couple of days ago, that many studios, like Universal, also dropped Brie Larson from starring in that all-female-led Fast and Furious movie. We talked about this. It's going to involve Charlize Theron. We also have Michelle Rodriguez in there playing Letty, and that's just the start. So Vin Diesel did confirm that they will be having an all-female-led Fast and Furious film, and Brie Larson originally was attached to this thing to kind of expand the franchise beyond Fast X Part 2 and 3. And that's all over because of the Disney drama, because of her being essentially box office poison, and let's not forget about the fact that Brie Larson, as of late, is really not a wanted actress by, audience members or common moviegoers. So moving on here, she goes on to conclude, I can say right now, this is the most challenging part of my career, and it's a work in progress for sure to find my way through it all. The thing I enjoyed most about working on the Marvels was how Nia, who is a fantastic director, agrees with me on everything about the unfairness in this industry, and these studios and those that run them are very one-sided and don't care about what you think or feel or what you are going through, and focus too much on a loud minority that ends up impacting your career flow. It's infuriating and it needs to come to a halt. But what can I do? All I can say is that I am happy we got this movie out to everyone to promote equality at its best, and Nia is all for it. Apart from that, guys, from what Larson delivered here, is that this alludes to how multiple studios recently dropped Larson for good, and how Disney recently fired her from many MCU movie roles, and TV show cameo roles as well, that are now no longer happening, including her removal from Avengers Secret Wars, where she was set to make a big cameo to break comic canon material. Now, about Deadpool 3, we talked about this. She was supposed to have a big cameo scene at the end of that film that is no longer happening, and you know what? That was a good call. I don't know who made that call, whether it was Ryan Reynolds or the Disney heads, but they don't want Larson in that movie anymore. They don't want her involved. And Deadpool 3, their best bet is to steer clear from any kind of unwanted actresses or characters that don't really deserve to be in a movie like that. And I'm glad that they made that decision. I'm not really defending Disney at this point. I'm just saying that that was a good call to kind of part ways from Captain Marvel in a movie that should strictly focus on the characters that fans love and enjoy, per the multiverse. So, again, we know that Brie Larson is really taking this on everyone, and all of her anger is just spewing out everywhere now, where she has to point the finger at unnecessary groups that are really non-existent, by the way. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.